Hello everybody and welcome to another Brawl Stars video. Today we've got a little bit of a different style and we're going to do the top tips and tricks for every game mode with Bibi. I feel like she's a really strong brawler right now and you should take advantage of her while you can before she definitely gets nerfed. And yeah, I'm just going to give you the best tips and tricks that I know. Alright, so to start off, we've got Gem Grab, which is definitely the most competitive game mode, and Bibi is really solid in this game mode. She's an aggro brawler, which means you want to constantly pressure the other team, so don't try to pick up too many gems because you're going to be dying quite often if you're the aggro brawler, and also make sure that you're pressuring their highest threat. So for example, in this case, we've got Bo here. He's a pretty high threat, he's got those mines, and he's got super high damage. So I'm definitely going to be trying to threaten him throughout this entire game. And you also want to be using your super to kill the gem carrier. Since they're usually sitting in the back, her super's got an extremely long range. And if you can try to hit multiple people with it. So she's really good at controlling the field with that super and with that super wide attack. So always be trying to hit 2 people at once. And when you've got the countdown for gems, always be super aggressive because most of the time you're not going to have gems, and if you do, obviously don't play aggressive. But if you're playing Bibi correctly, you should be trying to kill everyone on the other team and don't even worry about staying back or anything because the more you distract, the higher chance of you winning. So for Brawl Ball, I feel like this is Bibi's best game mode. Her knockback ability was made just for this mode to knock the ball out of people's hands. She's got decent health, which means she can run the ball right into the goal. And on top of it, with her star power, both of her star powers are really good. The shield one gives her extra health to just walk right into the goal, and the speed one lets her run by people really fast. So honestly, Bibi's just so strong in this game mode. Some big tips I have are to always try to save your knockback bar, so in case the other team's walking it in, you can knock it out of their hands. Another really good tip is if you see an open lane, take the ball and run with it and try to score, because if you have that speed star power, it's very hard to catch you and it's very hard to kill you. Now with your super, I'd probably use it in a lot of close quarter combat because that's very common in Brawl Ball to get multiple hits off people. And overall, this is definitely her best game mode. Not too many tips about it. So normally, I would not recommend playing Bibi in Bounty, but if you do have her speed star power, it does allow her to get up close to a lot of low health brawlers and take them out pretty easily. It's really easy for her to dodge shots with that speed star power. And the knockback, I'd try to waste it if you can before you start attacking people because most brawlers in Bounty are long range. So if you knock them back, it's going to be more beneficial to them instead of you. Unless obviously they're up against a wall, then that's an exception. So for Bibi's super, I try to kill people with a lot of stars in the back. It has a really long range. It's pretty easy to hit people. It's pretty wide. And with all those bounces, you're almost guaranteed to at least hit them twice or another brawler. A really good brawler I think works really well with Bibi in this mode is Jean, because Jean makes up for Bibi's lack of range, and if Jean can pull somebody in, it's an easy kill for Bibi because a low health brawler is no match for Bibi up at close range. Another 2 brawlers I think would work pretty well with Bibi would be either Piper or Brock because they make up for the lack of range again, but they actually have high damage unlike Jean. So I think if you had a star power Bibi, a Jean, and a Brock or Piper, it would be the perfect bounty comp and you'd be winning pretty consistently. So overall, Bibi can be used in Bounty with the right map, the right brawlers, but with randoms and without the star power, I would not suggest playing her. So at first glance, people think that Bibi is not very good at Siege, but I think she is probably one of the best brawlers in Siege, and this is probably one of her best modes. The reason for this is with her speed star power, she's able to collect bolts around the map super quickly, and with that really OP knockback, she's able to get the bolts away from other brawlers. A really good tip I have with Bibi is that if you're on the attack and you have your super, try to align your super up with the siege turret so that it'll hit it multiple times. The Ike turret has relatively low health compared to a heist turret, so if you get 4 or 5 bounces off, it's going to do insane damage. Also on defense, if you have your home run ability, save it to knock back the robot, as you see here in the gameplay. I'm about to do that. And it really delays the other team's attack, and it could even make your Ike turret attack the enemy instead of the bot, which is really good because you want to be killing the brawlers and that's your priority. A brawler I'd use with Bibi and Siege would probably be Tick or Barley. Dynamite is not as good at controlling, but Barley and Tick really are, and they both have pretty good damage when it comes to attacking, so they're definitely a good combination with Bibi. Another brawler I'd use with her would be a brawler like Carl, because he's also pretty tanky, but he has that range that Bibi lacks in. So once again, you want to be using long range brawlers with Bibi. One other really big tip I have with Bibi is to not charge the enemy super. And what I mean by this is don't play super aggressive where you're charging the enemy super over and over again and you're giving the other team such a huge advantage. Instead with Bibi, try to dodge and find the right opportunities to strike. So overall, I find Bibi to be really good at Siege, and you can probably get away with playing her with randoms. So a big disclaimer I have before getting into these tips with Bibi is to make sure you do not play her on Cavern Churn. The only reason I'm playing her on Cavern Churn is because that was what was available at the time. There's just too many Shellys and Bulls and Primos and Roses that counter Bibi really well. So anyway, a tip I have with Bibi is to go relatively aggressive for the power cubes. You'll be able to win most 1v1 situations, and you can also hit through them, which will allow you to hit the enemy while they can't hit you. Another good tip is if you're going up against a squishy brawler, waste your knockback before you engage with them, because if you knock them back, you're just going to put them in a better situation, or someone else will kill them and steal their power cubes. Now I know this tip may seem a bit newbie, but if you bush camp next to a box, or if you bush camp in a high traffic area, you'll be able to pick off some pretty easy to kill brawlers that walk by if they're not paying attention, which is basically applicable to any tank or close range brawler. One of the biggest tips I have for Bibi is in Showdown, if you're up against a tank such as a Bull, Primo, or Rosa, or even a Shelly, that you knock them back with your knockback ability. The reason I say this is because even though you won't be able to hit them, they do way more damage than you do at close range, and unless they're really low health, I would suggest playing it safe and hoping that someone else kills them. You can see in this gameplay, if you have a lot of power-ups and I'm up against the Daryl, I don't have to knock him back, I can just kill him really easily. Now, Bibi is not the best brawler in Heist, but you can definitely get away with playing her. She has pretty high damage, and she has a really fast reload speed, so if you get onto the Heist, you will do a lot of damage to it. But the only problem is that there's so many brawlers that are long range and throwers that you just have really hard time getting close to. So, as your teammates, I would also pick throwers and long range brawlers. That way, you have an edge against them if obviously your teammates are really good. Or if you have that speed star power, once again, the star power is really strong. If you have the speed star power, you'll be able to dodge them and get past them. With her super, I do the same things, kind of similar with in Siege. Balance it back and forth so it does more damage. It's a lot easier in this game mode than in Siege because the Ike turret is going to be trying to kill you while you're doing this. Another good tip I would have with using her super is you could use it kind of like in Bounty to kill those long range brawlers that you can otherwise not reach. The strategy is pretty close between Siege and Bounty, and not only will you have to deal with long range brawlers, but there's usually a Bull or a Primo or some close range brawler in most comps. So against them, just do the same thing in Showdown, knock them back, and hope that your lower health long range brawlers on your team will be able to take them out. So would I use Bibi with randoms in Heist? Probably not, but if you're skilled enough, you can get away with basically anything. I would definitely consider using her with 2 long-range brawlers, or maybe a thrower and another tank. That seems to be a pretty good comp. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this type of video. It's a bit different than my normal ones, so if you guys want to see more of this, or you want to go back to what I was doing before, leave your feedback in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.